Welcome back to the Power Six podcast. Here's your host, Isaiah Rose.
All right, guys, we are back with another week of the Headley harmonica intro music. Appreciate it, Headley. This week's exciting week. We are back with our picks. We got some more off-season reactions, some poll reactions, and we'll go ahead and dive into everything. What do we got this week, Max?
Yes, that is exactly right, Isaiah. The long, dark, sad, realignment-filled offseason is over. There are games to predict this week. We're going to see a game that's many hours of flying away from us. We're going to see the Heisman Trophy frontrunner and defending winner play this week. So fun to have predictions back on the schedule. We also have Tank and Bank back on the schedule too. So that's fun. Make sure you have those ready. And yeah, that's about it. So let's get into some last off-season reaction topics, discussion before we kick things off into the season and predictions. We'll start off with Nebraska. We saw over this last weekend that Gabe Ervin, named RB1, gets the nod over Anthony Grant and Ramir Johnson. Matt Rule said Anthony Grant had a couple fumbles in their scrimmage, and he said if you fumble the ball, you're not going to play for them. And now Gabe Ervin is the guy, which he's been like kind of this, like Frost wanted him the starter for the last 2 years, but he just got injured in them. So now he is the guy. He's fully healthy. I don't know if anyone else says anything about Gabe Ervin being number one.
Yes.
Nothing crazy.
I'm trying to mute myself. I completely agree. And I absolutely love the play by Matt Rule. It shows that, it doesn't matter whether or not you had a really good year last year and we're kind of the star of the team. If you're going to be putting the ball on the ground in practice, you're going to put the ball on the ground in game. And that's not something that Rule wants to put up with. So I love it. Gabe Ervin looks really solid right now. I hope it can translate into a game setting. So I'm excited to see him get it done next week.
Yeah, I wonder if this is an experiment moving forward. If AG will come back as the RB1 later if Gabe Ervin doesn't do it. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I think it's exciting to finally.
We'll see a lot of time split between the two still.
Yeah,
I don't think we'll see that much time split. I think Gabe Ervin's going to be a pretty clear number one. I think it's going to be like 70% Ervin and then like 15 and 15 between Ramir and AG.
Really? You think he lost that many snaps?
No. I don't think it's about Anthony Grant losing that many. Ramir Johnson was supposed to be the starter the last 2 years in a row, but he just had injuries.
Yeah.
So I don't think AG lost it. I just think, or not. Did I say Ramir? Gabe Ervin. Gabe Ervin is just, I think, the guy.
Yeah, that's fair. We'll get add a snap count for us on that Minnesota game. Put Isaiah on it.
Yeah, it's true. Maybe not. I bet Gabe Ervin's not going to get 70% of the runs for the whole season. I should correct that. He might get quite a bit for the Minnesota game. But I bet he'll get more like 50, and then he'll be like 30 AG, 20 Ramir Johnson. Probably more like it.
You think we'll see Ramir Johnson that much?
Yeah.
I'd like that. Get some elusiveness out there.
Yeah, I kind of hope we get like the guy at running back, like a clear-cut number one. Like he's taken a very big majority of the snaps, like, and he's just a dog. Like I really hope we get that.
Yeah, because we really haven't had that in a while.
Not since the mirror, it feels like.
Well, I feel like it was Zigbo for a while. He kind of had that role.
Zigbo had it for 1 year, yeah.
He did.
But other than that, we haven't really seen a clear running back one in 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah. I mean, but I also wouldn't be upset if Anthony Grant or Ramir Johnson and Gabe Ervin ended up being like the Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards. Like, I'm not going to be upset about that.
No, not at all.
Even with Blake
Corum is the obvious running back one, but Donovan Edwards would be a star on any other college football team right now too.
Yeah.
Having them both be up there.
Yeah, even that one though, I bet that one will be like Blake Corum, probably 70-30. He'll probably get the nod over Donovan Edwards.
Are they both seniors at Michigan?
I don't know. I mean, I know they both have been there for at least a few years now, so at least
I
probably
feel like Jake
juniors.
Wallum is.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah. So I don't know. It's exciting though because we have really good depth at running back and really good players at running back. And Gabe Ervin in the 5 seconds of footage that we've gotten to see him in practice so far looked pretty good. And the pictures we've seen, I mean, he looks like a monster. So
Yeah.
Tough look for Isaac Gifford there in that video.
yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Now let's get into a little question. We're talking about this with the running backs on who we think we'll see most. Who's going to be kind of the guy. But Brad, you asked this question a couple days ago, or I don't know when it was. Was it last night?
On Saturday.
Saturday. Which player are you most excited to see? I thought it was a good question. I think the obvious answer and what I said at first was Jeff Sims. Just because, I mean, he's going to touch the ball the most and he looks like a freak athlete.
Yeah, I agree. I'm very excited about Jeff Sims.
The right answer. We need Jeff Sims to be good to have a good season.
I would completely agree. I think Jeff Sims is the big question mark, and then I would even put Billy Kemp up there right next to him. 2 guys coming in. We need him to play really well this year.
Yeah, I think those guys are important. I guess the question of most exciting or excited to see is just like in general a question, I guess, to any players. Mine is Thomas Fedoni. I mean, we've been waiting on him for 3 years since he's been injured and not healthy since he's come back or since he's come. And I mean, he's stayed through injuries and he's even through changes of coaching. And so he's got some sort of passion and love for the team and sport. So, and he was the number 1 tight end in his class, I believe, if I'm not.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think he's going to be a dog. So I'm just excited to see him.
It's going to be if he can stay healthy.
I've got another guy here I'm really excited to see, and it's Luke Reimer. You guys know I'm a huge Luke Reimer fan. Always have been. Right now, he has 227 career tackles, and if he does what he did last year, and he had 86 tackles, he'll be 3rd all-time at Nebraska, right ahead of Mike Brown in tackles. That's pretty cool. I'm excited to see that this year. Also, Isaiah, I sorry for not keeping the straight face. Connor keeps farting right when I just and you know they're the
Don't gotta expose me
4
like
or
that,
5 tanks. They're the ones he has to fart like 6 times in a row. He can't just fart once.
Expose me to all the viewers like that, dude. Jeez. He's lying, fellas. He's lying.
I think that's a really good answer, Brad. I'm really excited to see Thomas Fedoni as well.
No, you know who I'm really excited to see? Tristan Alvano.
Oh, that's a sneaky good pick.
That is a good answer, right?
Good
there.
analysis, Isaiah.
Good answer. Good answer.
I thought that was gonna be the way you paused there. I thought it would be some dumb answer.
Dumb shit.
No, that's true. I'm excited. I have that.
I thought you were about to say Chubba Purdy or something like
No.
Heinrich Harber.
Tommy Hill.
I am excited to see Tommy Hill. This guy went defense, offense, and I think he's back to defense now. I don't know how
He's probably
make that
played
switch.
equal parts defense, offense, special teams.
That is crazy.
No, but
That is crazy.
I was going to talk about Tristan Alvano. I'm excited because if he's just as reliable as he was in high school, we haven't had a kicker like that since I said it last week, Alex Henry. So I'm excited. I like him a lot.
I think you pumped the brakes on that a little bit. High school football is a completely different atmosphere than college football.
That's why I said if he is reliable as he was in high school. I didn't say he's going to be.
He hasn't played a game yet. We need to see how he'll perform. So I'm excited to see if he got the nod to be the starter. I'm looking forward to watching him kick next Thursday.
I will say.
Go ahead, Max.
Go ahead, Brad. Oh, I was gonna say I will say real quick for Tristan Alvano. I think he is gonna get the nod and he's gonna be the starter. And for a true freshman kicker on the road, primetime Big Ten game, boy, that's tough for the nerves for the old Tristan Alvano. So
Exactly.
I'm hoping I mean, obviously he had huge nerves in the state championship game in Memorial Stadium. He actually knocked out of the park. But man, on the road in the Big Ten environment at night, hopefully he stays calm and knocks it through.
He's got that dog in him.
Yeah,
If he could
I
do
got
that,
faith
then
in the
I,
kid.
I could start to agree with Isaiah's statements, but it's gonna see if he can
Yeah,
rise up.
he's gonna have to prove himself. I'm not, I'm throwing it out there that he could be the next Alex Henry, but you've seen our kicker situation the last couple of years, so I don't have my hopes up too high.
I mean, he's a 5-star. My hopes are pretty high.
Yeah, it's nice to actually have a kicker
That's what I'm saying. It's gonna be a different
rather than
story.
a safety coming in and kicking. So bad.
When Scott Frost held open tryouts for
Yeah,
kicker a few years ago in the middle of the
so
season.
bad. Man, our special teams was in shambles.
Our special teams under Frost were terrible. Like, just clean that up a little bit, and we could be better this year. We'd be a better team this year. Ed Foley, special teams coach. He doesn't know if we'll play good, but they'll play hard. Next question I have, and Headley, you kind of touched on this about which player is going to be the most important for Nebraska's success, and I kind of have it split offense, defense, because maybe you guys will have some more unique answers, but I feel like the offense, it just has to be like Jeff Sims. He just has to be efficient, at least 60%, ideally 65+% completion percentage. Can't turn the ball over. That's been a huge problem at Nebraska for a while, is quarterback interceptions. So if he can play good, that's huge. And then on defense, I'd go with one of the linemen like Ty Robinson, because I feel really good about the entire group at linebacker and secondary. We're a little thin at D lineman. So if one guy can step up big time like Ty Robinson or Nash Hutmacher, that could be huge for getting some pressure on the QB and stopping the run.
Yeah, I would completely agree. I think on offense, I would actually say it's the offensive lineman as a group. Over the last few years, it's kind of been an area where we've struggled, where whether it was Casey Thompson or Adrian Martinez, it just felt like they were always kind of running out of the pocket and having to make a play. If we can get Jeff Sims into a comfortable position where he can throw from the pocket and then make plays when he needs to, I think it'll set us up for success a lot more. On defense, I think Nick Henrich is one of the most important players on our defensive side. If he can stay healthy, he's somebody that can really pump up and lead the defense. And he's a grinder. He's definitely not shy of taking a hit.
Yeah, I like that answer.
Yeah, I'll kind of echo Devin there. I actually had, I mean, obviously it's going to be Jeff Sims. Like he's our guy. He's going to touch the ball every day, every play. But Nebraska's O-line is going to be the most important in my eyes. Keeping Jeff Sims untouched as much as possible, especially with how much he runs as well. And then moving the lines for our running backs there. And then our defense, I would say, again, like nobody specific, but linebackers. Those are our core guys, our leaders. And I would say the D line, but I don't see them being much of an X factor with the new defensive formation. But also they're very important because Big Ten's a battle of the trenches. So yeah, those are my two.
Yeah, mine's definitely Jeff Sims on offense. There's no way that the Huskers are making a bowl game this year if he has as many turnovers as he has touchdowns. He has to protect the ball. And on defense, I don't really know if there's one guy I have in mind that needs to be good. I think our linebackers are probably our strongest spot. So if they show up, that'd be good. And there has to be one defensive lineman that puts some sacks on the board. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I think the D line we're gonna rely a lot on Ty Robinson, be a leader of that D line. Like we've already talked about, core guys, the linebackers, those are our leaders. Those guys are gonna drive this defense this year. Some guys we didn't mention, Marquise Buford. I'm excited to see him. Great player. I don't want to talk about Tommy Hill anymore. It's not list his name all season.
Dude, I
But then
love talking.
I just like to make fun of him.
They said he's been making some steps at cornerback, so
Okay, I would love to see it. So if he can redeem himself. Offensive
He
wise,
will.
other than like Jeff Sims and Gabe Ervin, I am very excited to see Isaiah Garcia Castaneda after we only got a couple games out of him last year. Um, I hope he can get the ball down the field, like we said earlier. Give Jeff Sims a pocket to let plays develop so he can get the ball down the field. I think IGC is going to be our deep ball threat this year, and I don't know. I'm super excited overall. So
Yeah, I don't think IGC really liked Coach Frost all that much. Um,
no.
that's not very good when you hate the boss man. Probably not going to be too committed.
Yeah, it's true. Unfortunately, I agree with your pick, Isaiah, of Marquise Buford. He's questionable on whether he's going to be ready to go for the Minnesota game or not. He's the only like big time player right now that, knock on wood, injury wise, is kind of not doing the best for the Huskers right now. But I bet he's probably kind of 50-50, I guess. They said Teddy Prohaska and Marcus Washington both back at practice today, so that's good. Two really big players. Those guys are going to be this year. So yeah, I think on the defensive side too, a guy like Isaac Gifford is going to be pretty big. Just if they said they're going to use him as a rover, if he's really that guy that's just going to be kind of flying around all over the defense, that's going to be big. And then Malcolm Hartsaw led the team in interceptions last year with 3 INTs. He only played when Frost and Shenander got fired, and then Bill Bush came in as DC, and they finally played Hartzog as a freshman. He played really good, so I expect his sophomore year to be good this year. Last little question here before we get into our final Husker season predictions, and I'll ask this for you too, Connor, on who will lead the team for Iowa, who will lead the team for Nebraska in touchdowns. I would be shocked if it was a wide receiver, just because I don't feel like we have that guy this year, like a Trey Palmer. So my mind immediately goes to RB1, which in this case is Gabe Ervin or Jeff Sims. Now, I think it's not a great sign if Jeff Sims is leading the team in touchdowns, because I feel like then we're relying too much on the quarterback again, and I don't think Matt Rule wants to do that. So I'm going to say Gabe Ervin in that case.
no,
I think
go
that's a
ahead.
solid pick. I think Gabe Ervin has a really good chance at leading the team in touchdowns this year. It'll all just depend on the scheme of the offense. If Jeff Sims comes out and they really are doing a more gunslinging spread offense, we may see Billy Kemp come up and have quite a few touchdowns, or ICG. It just kind of depends on how Jeff Sims is playing. But yeah, I think Gabe Ervin is just the most solid choice. I would be curious to see how he does out of the backfield in the passing game as well too.
No, I'd agree, Max. We don't want to rely too much on Jeff Sims to lead the team in touchdowns. Can't put it all on his back. Gabe Irvine, I think, is Irvin. I keep saying Irvine. Gabe Irvin's a good pick. I think, we're gonna rely a lot on that. As long as the O line, can get a push and get some holes open for the running backs to get through. I think we'll be better off. Offensive line's definitely gonna be something to look out for, but I mean, I think Jeff Sims is probably going to lead us in touchdowns. So
I'm gonna hope it's Gabe Ervin as well. But I really would not be surprised if it's Jeff Sims. Whether that's design quarterback run or scrambling for his life, I think he'll make some plays this year.
Yeah, I had 2 names, and it was Gabe Ervin and Jeff Sims, so we're all kind of in the same boat, and I'm gonna go with Gabe Ervin.
Connor, does Iowa have Gabe Ervin too? Is he going to lead the team in touchdowns?
Yeah, I got Gabe Ervin. No, for Iowa, I think it's probably going to be Caleb Johnson that leads the team for touchdowns. I think that if everything's going right for Kirk and Brian, that's how they're going to want to scheme the offense, is getting more rushing touchdowns. Obviously, the passing. I don't think it's going to be one of the wide receivers. If I had to pick a second guy, it'd probably be one of the tight ends and Luke Lachey or Eric All.
He's going to be leading with 2 touchdowns on the season, or what?
Probably lead the team with 5.
I was gonna say, I think Cooper DeJean could be in the running if he gets some pick sixes in there.
The Iowa defense.
He was probably in contention last year with his 3.
Probably, actually.
Probably had more touchdowns than a lot of guys in the offense.
Yeah. Some tight ends in there is cool. That would be really cool for Nebraska if Thomas Fidone could lead in touchdowns. I feel like that'd be a great sign. Have like a collegiate Big Ten version of Travis Kelce out there. That'd be fun. All right, and then last but not least for Nebraska, we will get into the final record prediction. We've gone through somewhat of a record prediction every offseason, or at least we've revisited. But we'll go ahead and throw our final predictions in there. Maybe some biggest wins or breakout players. So yeah, I guess I'll go first. I have Nebraska just barely hitting the under on the Vegas 6.5, but I think we'll get 6 wins. I don't want to be too crazy and say 7. Because that is pretty crazy. Wow, that's really unfortunate. That's crazy. But I'm going to say 6 wins. And I already mentioned his name a couple times, but I think Malcolm Hartzog can be a big time player for the Huskers this year. Get a few picks in there. Because he kind of was that guy last year. But give me 6 wins and give me hopefully, well, if we start 4-0, I sure hope we can at least get to like 7 wins, but yeah. Who's next? Don't we got an order up in this thing?
Respect the order,
Isaiah.
Damn it, Isaiah.
Respect
not me.
the order. Yes,
Yes,
it
it
is.
Oh, well, we changed
Respect
the
the
order
order.
earlier. Shit. Okay. I also have us going 6-6 and then going to Las Vegas to play Utah in the Las Vegas Bowl. I think like everything Max said, those guys, we need guys to step up that gotta do things on each side of the ball. So I think we're going 6-6. Yeah, that's what I got.
You got us going to the Las Vegas Bowl. No one else. That was
Not a actual.
That wasn't me. That was on Twitter.
That was Brett McMurphy on Twitter.
Yeah.
I say it just happens to have Las Vegas Bowl against Utah.
That's crazy.
I have also got us at 6-6. I think we have a guaranteed loss in Michigan. And then I think between Wisconsin and Iowa, we're going to lose one of those games for sure. And the way I'm thinking about it, we have 10 more games in the schedule that are all coin flips or potentially coin flips. And I think we take 6 of them.
Connor, how's Iowa going?
Yeah, Connor,
Oh,
Iowa.
okay. Sorry. I think Iowa is going to go 10-2 this year. I think at Penn State, the whiteout game is going to be a really tough one to win. That's one I'm chalking up as they're probably a loss. But then given that the rest of their season, their schedule's pretty easy, I'd say they got a good chance to beat Wisconsin, but that would be a loss, and then maybe another game up in there. But their schedule's pretty easy, and I think they have a good chance of going 10-2.
I'm gonna go 7-5 for the record, with a notable win against Iowa at the end of the season.
I love it, Brad. I was also going to say 7-5, but looking more and more at Nebraska's schedule, I think 8-4 could definitely be something that's achievable. Nebraska has one of the easiest schedules, not only in the Big Ten, but in college football this year. I think this is a good opportunity for Matt Rule to really flip the script on what Nebraska football has been. I think their biggest wins are going to be over Wisconsin and Iowa in back-to-back weeks to end the season off, right going into bowl season.
To clinch the Big Ten West for your prediction, right, Devin?
Yep. Be clinching the Big Ten West, going and playing Michigan again. Probably losing, but
taking that thing home.
I think they have a good chance. The biggest thing is they just got to close out games. So if they can close out games, those coin flips will start to look more like a 60-40, 70-30 kind of thing.
Real quick, what do you guys think the floor and the ceiling is for Nebraska and then Connor, Iowa?
So Max.
That's a great question, Brad. I would say the floor is 4-8. Because I see us beating at least Northern Illinois and La Tech, and then getting at least two others. I mean, probably Colorado and Northwestern. I mean, those are two of the worst Power 5 teams. They were actually the two worst Power 5 teams in college football last year. So it's like that's got to be the floor in my mind. Which it'd still be really unfortunate if we did go 4-8. Ceiling, I think I could just do the exact reverse, is 8-4. Because man, I feel like it'd be tough to, 4 losses in there. I mean, Michigan, Wisconsin are good. I mean, maybe Minnesota right out of the gate, right? So I don't know. Maybe 9-3 is the ceiling if you were actually going what's the legit highest end of the, you know what I mean? But around there.
Okay, I'm kind of similar there, Max. I think our floor is going to be 3-9. Getting our non-con wins and then probably not win. Well, actually, no, it's got to be 4-8. I don't see us losing to Northwestern. That being our only Big Ten win of the year. I think that's our floor, 4-8. I'm gonna go with our ceiling is 10-2. Those losses only being Michigan and Wisconsin. So I think if our team's rolling, we'll have it going. There'll be a lot of momentum. So I think 10-2, it would probably be our ceiling there. That's probably a little bit too much hope for him, but I like to keep my horizons open.
Yeah, my floor and ceiling are actually really far apart just because there's so many coin flip games, it feels like. I mean, the ceiling, I don't see us losing to Northwestern, but I said that last year. They went 1-11. And I don't see us losing to Northern Illinois. I think we could, as a floor, we could do 2-10. I think that's possible. But as a ceiling, I think we could do 9-3. There's just so many coin flip games, and who knows how the Big Ten West looks this year. In Wisconsin, people are high on Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin could just be awful this year. It's very possible.
All right, for Iowa, their floor I think is 7-5. I'd like to say 8-4, but we'll go 7-5. I think that they'll do better than that, but for the ceiling, I'm gonna go with 11-1. Like to say 12-0, but we're not gonna be quite that promiscuous. We're just gonna go with 11-1. That loss to Penn State, but if they ended up winning that one, who knows what the hell could happen the rest of the season.
Yeah, sorry, I was just looking at Iowa's schedule. I was wondering why you're so high on them. They got a pretty easy schedule, it looks like. But okay, so my ceiling probably 8-4, and my floor probably 4-8. So kind of just complete opposite.
All right, I got my floor at 5-7. I think the non-conference games are must wins. There's no reason why we should be losing to La Tech and Northern Illinois. I also think Matt Rule really needs to make a statement this year. He needs to win more than at least more than 2 Big Ten games. I would be okay with him winning that number 3 and getting to 5-7, but Big Ten's tough. You can't just come in your first year and only win 1 or 2 conference games. So I think our floor has to be a 5-7. It's definitely showing some improvement over the last few years. And then our ceiling, not to get promiscuous like Connor, but I would say 10-2, with the loss being Michigan and then either not Ohio State, Iowa and Wisconsin.
Yeah, I'll say if there's ever a year for, I don't know, for a guy to come in here and win right away, despite the circumstances being what they are, which is a bit of a rebuild. It'd be this year because the schedule is so easy. We haven't had that really in a lot of our Big Ten schedules, but it is really easy this year. And this is the last year it's probably ever going to be this easy for Nebraska with USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington joining next year. You're just automatically going to have like Northwestern and Purdue's replaced by Oregon's and USC's, you know? So if there was ever a year for the team not to be like the greatest in the world, but still go out there and at least go like 7-5, this would be it. So yeah, I also think the floor at Nebraska should be like 6 wins. It sucks to say it's 4 wins, but first year head coach rebuilding a little bit gets a little bit of a leash, but I really expect them to go out there and win 6 wins. No, anything less would be a major disappointment, regardless of it being his first year, in my opinion. But yeah, that's all we got for the last Nebraska offseason talk of the season. Next week, we'll be previewing a week 1 matchup. By the way, Joel Clapp pod, Headley, I know you listened to it. Him and Gus Johnson will be on the call for that Thursday night week 1 game against Minnesota. So that's great news.
I think they have our first 2 games.
They do, yep.
Awesome.
Yep, that Thursday night game and then at Colorado. And then they should have the Michigan game as well. So they'll have 3 out of our first 5 games. We'll have Gus and Joel announcing. So that's pretty neat. Next year, real quick, Jim Harbaugh, news dropped, suspended for the first 3 games, not the first 4. This is a self-imposed suspension by Michigan. They're hoping that it kind of takes care of any of the punishment that the NCAA would have divvied out. So they're 3 ridiculously tough non-conference games. Jim Harbaugh is not going to be there.
Damn.
How will they survive?
It's unfortunate for the Wolverines.
The Verines. But anyway, let's take a look at the 8 people. It got released a couple weeks ago, actually, and not a ton of surprises to me. I think there's 6 Big Ten teams in there. Georgia came in at number 1 by a lot. I think they got 60 of the 63 possible first place votes. Surprised me Michigan didn't get a little bit more, but Georgia is kind of the given, and they're the 2-time defending champs, so they kind of deserve it. Yeah, and then everything else looks kind of what you'd expect.
I had some notes. Georgia, first time, or not first. The first week where they hold the number 1 position for the 8.5 line, or what would I have it at? 9.5? I don't remember. I'll go back, but there's 1 check mark for Georgia. What?
Week 0 don't count.
Yeah, it does.
Well, it's preseason.
That gives you an extra week.
That's a week. It's a week where they are sit at number 1 ranked.
You get to add zero onto it.
0
well,
onto
technically,
what?
they'll still be that way for week 1 as well, because they don't change the poll after.
Yeah, so there's
week
2.
0. No, so that's 1. You get 1. Week 0 and week 1 count as 1.
Okay. So, I had notes here. Georgia, Michigan, not surprised there. Penn State, I love to see that they're highly ranked. They're a very respected program. They just got to get over the Michigan OSU hurdles, and I think they will be more respected. Florida State, number 8, bad football team. I was surprised to see Wisconsin ranked at 19, just because last year, they didn't really have a typical Wisconsin season, and this year they have a new head coach. And the 1 year he coached in the Big Ten as a head coach, got ran over by the Skurs. So kind of surprised to see Wisconsin in there. Ole Miss, 22. It is their year. They're gonna do something in the SEC.
Nothing says it's you like being preseason 22. That's for sure.
Exactly. I had a couple more here. Tulane, the only Group of 5 team in ranked, and they're 24th. I like to see that. And then UCLA, not preseason ranked. And then Louisville, they're outside looking in with 14 votes.
Yes, Louisville, 48th or whatever.
Hey, they're still outside looking. Actually, they're like 32nd.
They
And
got the
then,
same amount of votes as Kansas and Troy. That's big
And
time.
that's
yeah,
10,
my
not
last
14.
my last note here. Yeah, they got 10. Sorry. My last note here is that South Alabama gets 1 vote, Nebraska 0.
I mean, whoever did that's just
Suck.
an idiot.
We suck.
What pick?
Yeah, get me on that committee so I can at least get Nebraska 1 vote.
What about James Madison, huh? Getting one, and Liberty. All good.
Liberty.
Liberty.
Hey, so you know how every year in this preseason poll, there's a team in the top 10 to 15 that ends up just sucking, going like 6-6 or 7-5, whatever. What team do you guys think it'll be this year?
Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame's a classic answer to that because they're always preseason ranked really high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Florida
Weren't
State.
they like 10 last year and they got blown out by Ohio State?
They actually they lost like 17-7 or something to Ohio State, but then the week after that, because that was week 1, they got upset at home by Marshall.
Yeah.
Right.
I think Notre Dame's a great answer. They have just flopped my whole life. They're always like ranked 10th in the country and then they suck.
Well, besides when
hate
they have Manti Te'o.
They I think got smacked around in the Natty that year, or
They did.
Yeah,
was it?
they got
They didn't have
destroyed.
the playoffs then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Manti Te'o was too focused on his fake girlfriend. But that's
I think
besides
another
the point.
classic team in that realm is Texas. They just missed out on the top 10, but you know, they could easily once again.
That's another good answer.
Yeah.
I saw that. I don't think Steve Sarkisian has won more than 8 games as a Texas coach.
He hasn't won more than 9 games in his entire career as a head coach.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, they're another team that gets a ton of hype. And then I know they're outside the top 15, but Wisconsin, that is such a rebuild, and they're completely changing identity. I don't know what they're going to end up looking like.
Yeah. A lot of questions. They could be bad. They could be really good. It's kind of don't really know with them. I think Texas A&M at 23 is interesting because we know they have like all the talent in the world, but they are another one of those teams that the last few years Jimbo hasn't been able to execute.
Yeah. Texas A&M is the example of this last year for sure. Where they
Oh yeah.
I mean, what were they ranked preseason?
I think they were 5th.
Yeah, they were up there.
That sounds right. And they were
recruiting class too, I think.
and they were like actually just a really bad football team. I
Their
think
offense
Nebraska
is
had a
horrible.
shot against them last year.
Yeah. They had they were coming off in 2021 the best recruiting class in college football history. So, and it didn't do anything for them.
No.
Is that about all we got for the AP poll there? I'll be interested to see how it changes after week 1 because it won't change. They don't vote after week 0 again. So we'll see what happens. Another note too, real quick on that. Top 10, week 1, we do have a number 5 LSU versus number 8 Florida State rematch of that incredible Sunday night game last year. It will be on Sunday night, week 1 once again this year as a top 10 matchup. So that's going to be absolutely awesome.
I'll show you how bad Florida State is.
Yes, that will show us how bad the Seminoles are.
Yeah.
Correct. All right, now let's get into the first tank and bank of the year. Unfortunately, can't be on any games, but we can do it on the off season. I know it's kind of a little different, but I wanted to bring it back, so I figured we would do it. For my tank of the off season, I'm going to go with Iowa and Iowa State betters, man. That's a tank. Bet on your own team. Get caught doing it through the off season. That's unfortunate. Dory Conner, I still think Iowa's going to be just fine this year, but
That's a bank if I've ever heard of
no,
one.
that's
They got the bank, but they tanked.
I don't think any of those guys were positive, and there's a couple guys that bet like 5 Gs. So I don't think they were costing the sportsbook. Some of them were doing it illegally too. My bank of the offseason is just gonna be Michigan. Why not? I just think they're returning like all of their good players. No one left that was really big, and they freaking stole Ernest Hausman from us. He's gonna play for them. So yeah, Michigan, because they have a bunch of 25-year-olds coming back.
I didn't really do much for my tank and bank. They're both about Nebraska. My tank is losing Mickey Joseph and Xavier Betts this offseason. It's tough for the program. And then my bank, the stupid bank, Nebraska, 20 years in a row of offseason national championships, keeping it going.
Let's go. That's a great bank.
That's a bank every year. So for my tank, do I do tank or bank first?
Tank.
So my tank is endless conference realignment. Because first of all, I'm just so tired of reading about it and hearing news about it. And it also feels like the history is just kind of being tampered with. Does not feel like the Big Ten is going to be the Big Ten for very much longer. And that kind of makes me sad. My bank is the Brian Ferentz contract. And I think that is the most exciting thing as fans, that we get to watch this man fight for his job. And there's a public figure that he has to reach. That's fun.
All right, for my tank, I just got Coach Prime. That man's just a fool, and he's been fun to watch, funny to laugh at all off season. And then my bank is Iowa getting rid of Petrus.
Those are good ones.
That's a bank.
that was good. I like the Iowa fan calls Dion the tank. We love that, Connor. Thank you.
It's funny because he's just
He's
an overall tank.
My tank is the Tiny Baby Buffs and all the transfer portal stuff with them. And then my bank is going to be the Nebraska look inside, like little YouTube documentary thing that they're doing. I think that's cool.
One bet on
That's a
three,
great
one bet
bank.
on me.
We'll
bet.
go
One bet.
straight to the next episode after this pod ends.
Brad, I love that tank, by the way.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
My tank is Pat Fitzgerald and Northwestern Wildcats. You know, and all their crazy shit that they had going on in their
That's a
locker room.
tank.
Big tank with the program a long time, and just to see him get the can after something like that is ridiculous. And my bank has got to be the Roulade, man. This new head coach.
Ooh, I
Ethan,
like
we're
that.
excited.
I like that.
Roulade. I hadn't heard that until just
Yeah.
now.
Devin, I think you went tank and bank. Those are good ones.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Roulade.
We got our second drop.
I'm drinking the Roulade.
Drinking the Roulade.
Have you guys heard that before?
No.
I heard it on Reddit.
I
Yeah.
swear I
Dang.
heard something before.
Devin, that bank sucks. No. Dude, I love Take and Bank. This is our best segment.
Tank and bank is awesome.
We all had a great Take and Bank too.
That was
good job, fellas. Good
That was
job.
about as good as off-season
really
tank and bank could have gone. We had hit a lot of stuff there.
We did.
Yes, I love Tank and Bank, man. Let's just.
It's nice when we
let's
all
do
have
Tank
different
and Bank
things.
10 times over every week.
Look out for next pod. We're coming at you with 20 each tank and banks.
And for 7
That's
games.
cool.
Headley, speaking of both of your tank and banks, the tank was a good one because we're about to kick off the last like normal season of college football as we've known it for our whole lives.
It's sad, and it's for our lives especially. Like Big Ten has been most of our life. I mean, our parents, that feels like that ended for them a while ago with the Big 12 and all that. But I love Big Ten football. I care more about the Big Ten championship than I do about the national championship. Mostly because my team really just never has a shot for the national championship. We don't have a shot for the Big Ten championship, really. But
Hey, this
I
is our
love the
year.
Big Ten. And I think the only good thing about this is that Big Ten baseball could get better.
Yeah, I think Big Ten baseball has a shot to be better. Nebraska basketball, on the other hand, They got some strong programs coming to the Big Ten.
We
USC.
can only go
UCLA?
They suck.
UCLA basketball?
Or UCLA.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm not concerned
Oregon,
about Nebraska
Utah.
basketball getting any worse. It's
Wait,
just
one of you
not.
mentioned though that we could see Bronny James and Lincoln with USC coming to the Big
We
Ten.
could.
Someone
I
said
didn't
that.
even think about that.
Unless he has another heart attack, but
I mean, that wasn't funny, but yeah.
That was very unfortunate that did happen to Bronny.
Guy,
Yeah.
it's heart problem guy and another heart problem guy.
That's true. That's true.
So it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
heart
Yeah.
problem
He's
guy
allowed to
is-
make heart problem jokes, just like he's allowed to make dad jokes.
exactly.
You just got bailed out big time there, Isaiah.
Yeah, you did. I canceled.
Headley, what was your bank? I was going to say something about that too.
My bank was Brian Ferentz contract.
Oh,
not Brian
yeah.
Ferentz. Brian Ferentz is not a bank ever, but his contract, that's a bank.
No, that is actually crazy. We never get literal, like, it's always a question mark. Are we going to keep this guy or we're not? We literally know if that guy's going to be kept. There's an
I
actual,
love it.
That's
Measure,
honestly awesome. We can actually measure that.
yeah, it's like a game show.
Yeah.
The whole
If,
season.
if he is going into week 12 with like a certain amount of points he needs to get, he hasn't got it yet. That should be the primetime game of the year.
It'll be on
That should be big
CBS.
noon, college game day. Like,
Yeah,
oh
and
my
it's
god,
Nebraska.
that'll be fun.
Yeah, it's Nebraska. CBS.
And it's Nebraska. And they
It's
probably won't be going to a bowl game either, so that's gonna be it.
Yeah, sure. All right. With the last offseason discussion ever, just this year, done for like I said, this realignment filled sucky offseason. We'll get into a little week 0 here. We'll probably jump straight into predictions. We're not going to do a lock or dog this week because there's too few games, not enough to go off of. But before we start that, any games in particular, any storylines you guys are excited for?
Honestly, no.
I'm
think-
excited for all of it.
I'm just excited to
I'm
have college
excited
football
to have
back.
football on the screen, but I mean, there's no game that's really gonna be that great. Maybe the Dublin game.
Week 0 sucks. Let's be honest.
We're talking about
But
the
there's still
season or
football.
just week 0?
No, just week 0.
Yep,
No.
nothing.
Except for just the fact that football's back. And I'm going to watch the games and enjoy the hell out of them.
Oh yeah.
Like, I wish I could say that I'm psyched for UMass versus New Mexico State, but really, I'm just not.
I mean, that's the game
What
I'm
about
least
you?
excited for.
Kind of like the NFL preseason. No one cares.
It does feel like the preseason.
Yeah. Navy versus Notre Dame, Dublin part 2. Sort of intriguing. USC, seeing Caleb Williams play. Heisman frontrunner. That could be neat. Louisiana Tech, they are on Nebraska's schedule, so we get to see them play as well. Get a little insight. I'm going to watch film, call my boy Rule, let him know what's going on. So yeah, Hawaii Vandy too, rematch of the year from last year's week 0.
Don't even want to talk about that game. Shout out Jared last year for giving us bad info.
All right. With that, let's get into predictions. Saturday slate is here, first of the year, and we're going to start off with the very first game that's going to kick it off, 1:30 p.m. Central Time in Dublin on NBC. Navy taking on number 13 Notre Dame. Notre Dame is 20.5-point favorites, and don't know if they cover. Doesn't matter. They're going to win the game.
Yeah. This isn't even, there's no question mark on this game. The Irish are gonna pull away and cruise home and probably go to an Irish pub.
That was funny.
So-
guys.
We aren't picking spreads. We're just picking the winner.
Yeah, just straight up.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Same,
Notre
same
Dame.
as last year.
This guy forgets how to do things.
I mean, it's been a while.
Come on, man. I got Notre Dame too. Easy pick.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, it's a lock.
Surprised nobody
Power
said
six
Notre
curse.
Dame.
Yeah, first Power 6 curse. Next, UTEP at Jacksonville State. This is actually Jacksonville State's first ever FBS game. They're coming up from the FCS. And it's at Jacksonville State, home game. I'm going to go on a little limb here and pick Jacksonville State. Rich Rodriguez is the head coach, which I didn't know, but he's got a lot of experience, and Jacksonville State has a lot of returning players from last year. So I think they get it done in their first ever FBS football game.
So my turn.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Respect the order.
UTEP.
It's because he's got to actually make a decision instead of copying us.
No, it's true.
I knew it would call him out this week.
I'm gonna take Jacksonville State. I was curious. I looked up the weather, and it is going to be 100 degrees on Saturday in Jacksonville, Florida. So
It's Jacksonville,
that's
Alabama.
scary.
Jacksonville, Alabama.
It's not Florida.
No, Jacksonville State's in Alabama.
This guy's making up teams, making up.
I would have
Locations.
never known.
I
would've never known.
thought it would be Florida. Let me look up the weather now.
Wait, is Jackson?
Now you got to
Alright.
switch your pick to UTEP.
This
Yeah.
is Jacksonville State in Jacksonville, Alabama.
Yeah,
What
well,
is-
good thing my boys from Texas, El Paso, they're even farther south than Jacksonville, Alabama, so they'll be ready for that heat, and they're gonna win.
Jacksonville, Alabama is only going to be 97 degrees at kickoff on Saturday.
UTEP
Yeah,
all the
El
way.
Paso boys will be ready.
Give me the UTEP Miners.
What now?
Hold on, Brad. What's up?
Miners. The UTEP Miners.
Brad
You're,
likes
you're going.
minors.
Brad's going for the Miners. He finally admitted it.
I also got UTEP. I think while Jacksonville State's returning a lot of good guys, I think they lost some key players, as well as losing prime time. And they're taking
That's
the
a
next
different
level.
program. That's a different program.
Jackson State.
What?
I was
Jack-
gonna say, how the hell do you know?
I think it's Florida, right?
who's gonna
Devin's like, they
return?
also lost a lot of key players. I'm like, we
I
got a
thought
scouting
about
report.
that too.
Hey,
To be
Do you
honest,
guys-
I did the same thing in my notes. I didn't put Jacksonville State. I put
Do you guys-
Jackson State.
I'm
Don't worry.
changing to UTEP. Fuck Jacksonville, wherever the hell it is. I don't care for it. I'm going to UTEP.
Dang, I'm going
Losing.
lone wolf on this one, man. I guess. Where's Jackson State?
Alabama.
Who cares?
I'll
But
be a little bit.
I'm going to guess Florida.
Jackson State, I want to say, is in.
It's in
Texas.
Arkansas, dude.
It's in the capital of the state that it is in. Named after the,
Mississippi.
Jackson, Mississippi.
Ah,
MISSSI.
That was the trivia for the day. All right, next, let's move on. UMass at New Mexico State. In case you didn't know, those are in Massachusetts and New Mexico. New Mexico State is favored by 8 points, and I think they get the job done. UMass is a bad football team.
UMass bad. New Mexico State good. Brad also bad for fucking with my shit on the spreadsheet.
Yeah. I'm going to go UMass on this. Why?
Oh,
Because last year I tuned into a New Mexico State game and I bet on their quarterback. I bet the over for his passing yards in the second half, and it was some number like 36.5. And he did not get it. That's my only knowledge of New Mexico State. So I'm going UMass.
I'll go with Vegas and pick New Mexico State here.
New Mexico State by a lot. UMass is bad.
I will second all that. I think UMass is bad. Go State.
You guys are going to be surprised on that one.
next, Ohio at San Diego State. Sneaky good group of 5 matchup here. A little MAC versus Mountain West, and 2 of the better teams in both of those conferences. This one's on Fox Sports 1. I got SDSU, but I think it's going to be really close. I think it's going to be a really good game.
Yeah, I'll second that. I got SDSU. Is it the Aztecs?
Yes, sir.
I got them boys.
I also have SDSU.
Me 4. I also got them.
I got San Diego State as well.
Fuck all y'all. Go Bobcats.
We only got one person different on all the picks right now, so
I know,
Not
it's
true. Y'all
interesting.
picked Notre Dame.
Yeah, well, we cursed Notre Dame, so there goes that one. Next, Hawaii at
That's true.
Vanderbilt, SEC country. Last year, Vanderbilt went out to the Hawaiian Islands and dominated the Rainbow Warriors. This time, Hawaii's, like I said, going into some SEC country and into an unfinished Vanderbilt Stadium. Commodores favored by 16.5. I think that's too low. I think they win by a pretty large margin.
Yeah, shout out Jared last year for telling me that Hawaii was gonna win this game. Not a chance in hell. Give me Vanderbilt.
I got Vandy, mostly because the SEC, it just means more.
Rainbow Warriors down. I got Vandy.
Yeah, I picked Hawaii last year, and that was a gigantic mistake. So I'm gonna go Vanderbilt.
I'm going Hawaii. Oh my god, I can't believe I just think they're gonna be a little bit more fired up. I think they're gonna have a chip on their shoulder and they're gonna go into SEC country and pull out a win.
Once again, Devin, gigantic mistake. I'm telling you right now.
That is a bad pick. That is
telling you right
terrible.
now.
Trying to be last in picks again.
If we
Even
were
though
doing
Vanderbilt's
underdog-
bad.
If we were doing underdog, that'd be worth a lot of points, but we're not.
Yeah, that wouldn't be the worst pick.
You just wait until my next pick.
By the way, I can't wait for when we get back to the dogs next week because again, new format.
Hey, I can't
Gonna
wait
be just
till I
freaking
can't wait
awesome.
to say my tank next week. I'm gonna say Devin. Vanderbilt just went over Hawaii 70-0.
Could happen.
Win
Next.
70-0.
Back is everyone's favorite. I know, particularly Headley's favorite in the spread pick. We have a spread that is big enough this week. We have USC, sixth-ranked team in the country, favored by 30 at home over San Jose State. I think that line is really good because I think San Jose State, they've been a pretty good team the last couple of years. I think last year they got off to a 7-2 start before they lost a few. But USC is going to throw the ball all over their defense and score 70 points. So USC's defense doesn't matter, and USC covers.
USC, especially Caleb Williams, has a lot on the line here. You know, preseason Heisman favorite. You got to go out and show out. They want to make the playoffs this year. USC covering for sure. They have to. They just need to go all out on this game.
I think USC covers and San Jose State scores 30.
Well, since everyone else is saying yes, I'm going to go with no. They're going to score a lot of points, USC, but they're going to give up some points. They're going to win by 29.
That's fair. That's fair. USC is going to put San Jose into the ground. So, yes.
I think they cover and Caleb Williams plays 2.5 quarters.
Yeah, that wouldn't shock me. And then last but not least, the nightcap. I think this is an 8 p.m. Central start, so sort of getting into some late night football. Florida International at Louisiana Tech. DeColdis Crawford is going to try to do some things for La Tech this year. They're favored by 10 points, and I think they win the game. I think La Tech's going to be pretty decent this year. So, yeah.
I got my boy Alex Wynn here. La Tech taking it.
I'm also going to cheer for Alex Wynn. I'm going to go LA Tech.
I got a lot of tech too.
Got a lot of Tech.
I got a lot of Tech.
And we just cursed another team. All right.
Nice.
Our stickers.
Is it?
That one,
Oh, FIU's not Casey Thompson. He's FAU.
correct. That would have been interesting if it was.
That would have been cool.
But anyway, there's all of our picks for week 0. We'll see how it goes. Can't wait to watch some games. By the way, throughout this podcast, I did sip on a little Roulade. We're going 7-5 now. But anyway, with that,
Mark it down. Mark it down.
mark it down 7-5 because we're starting 4-0 and we're not going to go 6-6.
Roulade. So awesome.
Chugged on a little Roulade. But yeah, excited to watch some games this week and absolutely pumped for it. And even more excited that next week is week 1. Tons of good football. Nebraska football is almost back. We're a week and a couple of days away from Husker football. I can't even contain myself right now. It's going to go straight into a look in. And
I'm excited. I'm excited to be in Memorial Stadium with 90,000 people watching the volleyball game first.
It's a nice
and then Thursday, I think that environment's gonna be electric. Right now we could win the national championship in football. That's where the attitude's at. And when we're gonna be with 90,000 people and we can't risk that at all, no matter what, we're gonna walk out of there still with the chance to beat Minnesota. Like we aren't gonna leave there disappointed. It's gonna be awesome.
All I'm saying too, massive week for Lincoln. Zach Bryan, which I know a couple of the boys here are going to. Volleyball game, which is going to set a world record. First Husker game of the season, Roulade. And if we win that game, burn everything down. Let's go crazy. We won the Natty.
Yeah. Lincoln might be a fireball after that. Who knows? Well, with that being said, going ahead and end this podcast for this week. Exciting week ahead of us. Week 0 football. We have 7 games. Very excited. Let's see how we start the season out in our picks here. Hopefully Devin doesn't go 3-4. But go ahead and end things. Excited for Husker football coming up next week. Husker volleyball game like Headley mentioned, and let's sip on the Roulade. And with that being said, as always, go Big Red.
Go Hawks.